Hello and welcome to the Mardi Gras of Mardi Gras, the day of days and the night of nights, for Omega Tahu is finally here. The hype train has finally arrived at its destination and departed, and we have the set in hand and ready to be reviewed. So, how does Omega Tahu stack up to all the others? And is he a worthy continuation of the Bionicle line? Find out in this video. So, Tahu himself is a good example of the new style that Bionicle is taking this year by combining what we know as the CCBS system, or the Hero Factory system, with a more complex turn of events, that being the gear system. Yes, for LEGO has done something spectacular. Not only have they brought back gears, but they've invented a new system that allows for posability while the gear functions work. Man, this is just spectacular. This pleases both the fans of the old and the fans of the new. All in one go. Nice job, LEGO. You did good. Now, Tahu sports his familiar dual swords, but he's prepared for battle this time, for in the off chance that his swords, which have a dual functionality of transforming into his famous lava board, like so, boom, they just snap together, just like that. Tahu also has backup swords. Now these swords are really interesting because the way LEGO has designed this system, they can be maneuvered and positioned however you want them to be. Rather interesting, and gives Tahu a very different look depending on how you wish for them to look. Now these blades can be removed from his backpack and added on to his hands as replacement blades in the offhand, that chance that Tahu needs them for battle. For this is no longer the Tahu of the old. This is the new, improved Tahu. Tahu, master of fire. Master of unable to keep his mask on his face. Yes, no set is without flaws. And while Omega Tahu here, as I like to call him, is a very nice set, he does have a few flaws. Now, the new mask system is very interesting. Let's start by showing off the new head. So, LEGO has brought back the traditional headpiece and eye stalk, which is connected by one single red axle. Now, the head is designed in a way to function similar to how the heads from 2001 functioned. Back in the olden days, when Bionicle was first introduced, we had masks that connected via pins, and you could use the sets to knock the mask off. It was a kind of game that LEGO had installed in the sets, and they brought this back. However, unlike before, where they connected through a peg on the mouthpiece, we now have, interesting. So, the mask simply slides on, like so. Not only can they be knocked off, just like the days of the old, the head also includes a secondary function, a launching mechanism. By clicking the lever here on the eye stalk, it launches the mask forward. Not exactly sure what the exact purpose of this function is, aside from just straight up playability, but it is an interesting design choice because while it adds some new elements to the head, it also makes the mask incredibly easy to falling off. A simple tap on the head and you might lose your nice new howl. And what a nice new howl that is. Look at this beauty. LEGO has done a good job of taking the original aesthetics of the howl and modernizing it for the new Bionicle. It has a very nice 3D profile here, and is very reminiscent of the original howl. Let's put this back on his head there. Now, these new sets also include these new armor pieces that can be found on many of the protectors. They simply attach to our standard Hero Factory plates, like so. Boom! And you have yourself some Omega-ness. But the most important thing about Mr. Tahu here is that gear function I talked about. So, how does this gear function work? Well, as you can see, the torso is actually comprised of two different pieces. You have your standard torso piece here that was introduced in Hero Factory a very, very long time ago. But we get a new piece, the gearbox. The gearbox is a single piece that, when inserting gears into, can activate the function as so. This can be attached to the back through two pegs. Now, this system is interesting because it does leave two ball joints visible, which is a little interesting, but I think the set does a good job of hiding these ball joints well enough. The arms simply connect through a single axle, right into the gear here. Same for both sides, and then another axle comes through the middle. Similar to the old Mana torsos. It's actually not much different, actually. Now with this gear system, we do have the added bonus of allowing an extra ball joint to be placed here, and this helps add the shoulder armor. Now, the shoulder armor is a little interesting, and personally I think it looks fine, but it does kind of point upwards in an odd way, and I can see how some people might find this a little unappealing. Speaking of things that are unappealing, the legs have a tendency to pop off. See, these joints are really, really strong, these extenders here, and they seem to be a bit stronger than the actual joint itself, so moving and posing the legs can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but I think some loosening up of these joints and that will be fine in the future. The use of chest pieces as leg armor is also an interesting decision because it leaves the back of the legs completely exposed. Now, this has always been a pretty big issue that's plagued Bionicle for a while. The back of the set's never looking quite as final as the front, and for the most part, Tahu actually does a pretty good job of covering up his backside. I think the gear system does a great job of adding some extra fluff to the back to make him feel pretty complete. So it's a shame that these leg armor pieces here don't really give the same amount of coverage. The same can be said about his arms as well. Luckily, his arms, depending on how you pose them, usually don't expose this, and I guess the same could be said for his legs, but it is a little strange. Now, included with Tahu, we have... Hey, look, his mask fell off again. Oh, Tahu. Included with Tahu, we have a golden howl. It is the belief currently that the Toa are going to have to search for the golden howls to enhance their elemental abilities, similar to 01. And as such, each Toa includes a golden version of their mask, which is really cool. Along with this, we also get a skull spider. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to think about this. It's just a Kanohi with some legs attached to it, so there's really not much to it. Doesn't really do much. Yeah, that's about it. But the skull mask itself is actually quite a beauty. Look at this thing. It is very menacing looking, and wow. And as you can see here, it can attach to the standard heads. Now, it should be worth mentioning that these heads are not compatible with the older mask. They do not have an axle hole for the axles. So, for all you mockers out there hoping to use the heads with your new, or with your old mask, yeah, good luck. That's probably not going to happen. But, as far as included features, that is about it. And all in all, Tahu is a really, really awesome set. I think he does a great job of looking really tough and menacing. One thing that I did notice, and I can't really tell if I like or not, is I feel like his neck is a little low. Like it should be placed a bit higher. But I guess it does give him a bit more of a kind of brutish stature. So that kind of allows, you know, for that Tahu flame to kick in. Now, as you might have noticed over here, I have another mask. Now, this is not included with the set, but it is another Howl. It is a version of the Howl that was given away at New York Comic Con, which is where we obtained this set. Now, you might have noticed that while I showed the connection of the blades into forming the lava board, I didn't show how the blades actually connect to the feet. The way this set was obtained was through Comic-Con, and the idea was that LEGO gave us the ability to play with the new parts and build whatever we wanted. So, I decided to build Tahu. And I worked with several LEGO employees, and they helped me kind of get to the final product, and this is, well, pretty much 100% accurate. I think the only differences may be how some of the parts actually connect. I'm not exactly sure if these are the right pegs or if this is connected differently, because there are 3 holes here, so it could work like that. So really minor things like that, but it uses all the correct parts and they are placed on the correct areas. So, there goes that mask. Ah, Lego, Lego, Lego. I love the function, but I don't know, man. I think these masks might need some tightening up or something. So, as such, we don't actually have instructions to the sets, and we had to work off what the LEGO employees told us. And because of this, we're not exactly sure... Hey, look, there goes the mask. We're not exactly sure how the board itself connects to the feet. I'm assuming probably an axle or 2 is installed here, but we do not have those axles currently. But this is basically as final as the set is going to look up until its release in January. So, once we actually get some real instructions, we'll be able to figure out that board there. But yes, this has basically been it for Tahu here. He is a really, really cool looking set. Look at this guy. Man, LEGO, you're doing it. You're doing it. You're winning back my faith. Not that it was ever lost to begin with, but... So, I hope you enjoyed this early look at Tahu, Master of Fire. And hopefully more videos will come out when the sets are officially released in January of 2015. Thank you for watching. This has been Vardaran, and we will see you next time.